Welcome into another episode of The Well.
Yay.
I'm Drew. Yay,
Kat.
I'm Drew. I'm Drew.
Kat. I'm Kat. Meow. Okay.
Wow, that was a lot. I don't know how we recover from that one, but today's going to be a mashup. So we've been talking a lot about the 90s, thinking a lot about the 90s, kind of feeling the 90s lately. So it's going to be a mishmash of 90s stuff. Where were we? So I got a question for you, and it'll tie back into the first topic. Did the internet make us smarter or just less bold? And what I mean by that is back in the day, let's say in the 90s, middle school, high school, you were so adamant when you knew something or thought you knew something. And do you remember what you used to say? Like when someone's like, that's not true, or that's
Prove
no
it.
way, that's right. You'd say, well, that's my dad knows that. That's what my dad knows. He told me. Or that's what my mom told me, or my uncle, right? They were the source of all knowledge. Adults were the source of all knowledge. So did you remember those experiences where literally we had, like, you had to work for information. So it wasn't readily available at your fingertips. As convenient as it is now, has it made us, I don't want to say dumber, but, it has changed us when it's sourcing information. But literally, we were so brazen back then with no way to back it up unless you actually produced articles, documents.
No one could refute it. No one could. I mean, what were they going to do? Challenge you? They could challenge you. But it always ended in a deadlock. I mean, prove it. Okay, I will. And then that was it. Then you go play.
I don't know. Maybe that's why our generation is so argumentative. Like everything's an argument because literally everything's an argument. That's not true. No, you didn't. You're lying. False. Cat. So
I don't know. I feel like it's more we learned how to be stubborn and resilient.
See, always with the bright spots with you.
I try.
Always with the
not
positive.
all the time. I try.
Most of the time. You have any good stories about, being really confident about something and then really just kind of shit in the bed? Not literally.
Yeah. Well, overall, in the past, if it didn't know the answer to something, or if someone asked me, hey, did you hear about this? Actually, I do have a story. As a kid growing up, I always got information last. I don't know why. I had an older sister, but for some reason, I just didn't get any information ever. I got all my information from my friends at school or friends in the neighborhood.
I don't think that's abnormal.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like a lot of kids probably have like older siblings, maybe a year or 2 years, and they overhear conversations. And that's how you picked up a lot of information, right? From conversation. You didn't really have, your Apple phone with your mobile apps and Google and Chrome.
You just say Apple phone? Did you just age yourself like 40 years? Apple phone?
iPad, iPhone.
iPhone? My Apple phone.
That's not the point here.
I went to the Google.
The point is we had limited sources to get our information. So I always felt extremely stupid as a kid when someone would ask me if I knew about something and I never had an answer. And I would always say, oh yeah, I know what that is. And then
so you'd lie.
Because I did. Yeah, I lied because I felt left out. Not that there's a good excuse for that. I was literally like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Probably between the age of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, probably between the ages of 8 and 13. I grew out of it. I stopped doing that. But I didn't get a lot of information, but I would say, yes, I do know about that brand designer back in the 80s or 90s, or I did know that TV show, or I have watched that movie. And I will never forget one of the friends, because it repeatedly happened to me, so I finally got to the point where I was like, you know what, I'm not going to say no anymore. And they would make me feel stupid for not knowing. I would say, yes, actually, I do know. Yeah. And then they would say, okay, basically prove it. And I'd be like, can I go to the bathroom? And then it made me feel stupid either way. But now it's like, oh my gosh, people will say, hey, Kat, do you have you ever heard of XYZ? Or someone will use a term in a conversation. And you know how fast you can get online now and literally research it? And like during a conversation, you know, and it's like, oh, I gotta check my phone and see if I have any text messages. What is da 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 da, you know? And then you're like, oh yeah, and then you start contributing to the conversation. That's hypothetical. This is all hypothetical, of course. I'm not saying I do that now, but I mean, it's a lot easier to get information. You know, like you said, you really had to work. I mean, you got it on the news at particular times of the day. Half the time, your information was secondhand, you know? So I don't think I was very confident back then like I am now because I research like nobody's business.
You giving yourself a pat on the back right now?
No, I'm just saying that I do my due diligence.
It's a fact. That's what you're saying. It's a fact. It's a fact.
Yeah.
I think I perfected the ability to bullshit like really well during that time.
I know what you
mean. Like literally, I could will the unknown into the known and make it like statement worthy, like truth. Turn complete bullshit into truth, even though there was very little truth to it. I feel like I really perfected that craft, and it has.
You still are great at that.
Yeah, it served me well in my years of existence. So yes, I feel like that's.
Why did you feel the need to do that? Why? Like I kind of wonder.
I guess it's at that age, it's an insecurity thing.
Yeah.
You don't want to be known as stupid
or
doesn't know something. And I wasn't the brightest bulb, so definitely felt a bit not intimidated, but insecure about just people knowing more than me. So that was always kind of it was a weird emotion. I used to feel that, but now everybody knows everything.
That is true.
You can fact check it all you want now. You better be spot on.
That's right.
Better be spot on. So speaking of spot on, the phone, this is before cell phones. Going back to when you called your friends, you had to memorize everybody's phone number, which was crazy, right? Like literally, you knew everybody's phone number. So, or you had the Rolodex or the little black book or something you used to jot your numbers down in. So, but you had to know people's numbers, and that was a feat within itself.
Yeah.
But calling people's houses, I feel like that was it was a layer of manners you had to learn.
Yeah,
right? You had to learn how to talk to other kids' parents, or gosh, if you were calling a girl or a boy, man, like, whew, that was scary. Real scary. Now you can text, right? That's super easy. There's not a lot of commitment to when you called somebody, you were committed. You were committed to contact.
Do you remember what you said when you first would call someone's house? Let's say you're calling a friend and the dad answers or the mom answers.
Yeah. Hi, Mr. Smith. Hi, Mr. Smith. Can I talk to so-and-so?
Okay. Interesting. I would say, hi, this is Rebecca, because they used to call me Rebecca. Is so-and-so, can I please speak to so-and-so? That's how I was trained to say it. May I please speak to so-and-so? Like, I actually don't remember being trained that way, but I remember the anxiety to a certain degree of calling someone's house. But, it's funny. I think, like, to your point, that's how we learned. We talked about this on a different episode, courtesy and manners.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we were kind of forced to do that. I mean, you could call someone and say, yo, hey, is so-and-so home? I need to speak to so-and-so, but the majority of people were, there was an etiquette going back to kind of what we talked about.
Yeah, but I also feel like it was the gatekeeper. Because if you called up and you didn't address things properly and the parent answered the phone, that was a bad sign, right?
Yeah.
So it was a bad sign if you didn't appropriately ask for the person you were calling, because then you can't go out and play, or no, there's something wrong with them. They're not polite. I have a
question. Do you think that the fact that we can now text has hindered people from learning how to interact with each other?
So I feel like that question might not be fair in the grand scheme of things. I just think communication has changed. It's drastically changed. I mean, honestly, I'd much rather text than talk on the phone. But
why?
I'm finding myself wanting to talk on the phone more. I don't know, because I'm confused, I guess.
That's a good answer.
I do feel like it has altered communication, and it makes me a little bit sad because I feel that connection, that personal interaction is, you can build a rapport differently.
Right.
Now everything is very transactional and fast.
Yeah.
So you learn at a faster pace as opposed to getting to know somebody. Like literally, somebody in a couple days now. It's so fast. You get everyone's life story, I feel like. Well, maybe it's just me. Everyone tells me their life story.
Actually, you're not wrong. But there's a magnetism to you. That's why. But I think you are right. Things were slower back in our day. And everything is just so much faster now. So you can, like, if you meet someone, you can look them up online. You can find out a whole bunch of information. You can do your research, But it wasn't like that during that time.
No, because to your point, you had to have that conversation. You actually had to go through experiences together to get to know people. I feel like that was a good part of I guess, not ironically, but interestingly enough, I mean, it's probably why I have had my friends, like my friend group, as long as I've had. I mean, I've had the same set of friends since literally kindergarten.
Yeah, right.
So because we all know each other so well. It's just weird. Like we've experienced so much. So I feel like there was a different level of bonding back then. Mm-hmm. Like you bonded with people differently. Now it just feels very transactional, right? Like I can let this person go. I can just block them on my phone. I never have to interact with them again. So it just kind of was weird. It's weird now. It's not bad, not good. It just feels off.
Different. Yeah, it's definitely different. And I think that's a good thing to bring up is it's not a bad thing. It's just different.
It definitely is different. Mm-hmm. Just trying to think if there was any crazy moments so as little boys, I don't even want to say that. As kids, prank calls. The phone was a weapon.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
We would prank call everybody and consistently. We used to get in so much trouble for all the prank calls we used to do.
Right.
That was huge for us. Like me and my friends, all we want to do is prank call people. It was so dumb.
That's funny. I did that as well. And we would prank call. You just triggered a memory. I would be with a friend and we would open up the phone book and we would pick a random phone number and we would dial it. And granted, this is before the caller ID. Do you remember caller ID?
Star 69.
It was before Star 69. Although I'm actually curious what the origin date of Star 69 is, because I'm pretty sure that we made all these prank calls before people could do that. That way they had no clue who was calling them, because I never remember my parents like disciplining me because I was doing prank calls. But we would do the heavy breathing and then we'd hang up. The biggest prank was let's order pizzas and have them delivered to people's house. But I really think I picked that up from a movie, and I can't remember what movie that was. I don't know if it was Encino Man or something.
Oh gosh,
some classic
Encino
movie.
Man. That's
I love that movie. Loved it so much. Yeah. So we would use the phone for multiple reasons, and they were to RSVP for birthdays, talk to grandma and grandpa, call our friends. But my sister stayed on the phone way more than I did. Ordering pizza, because they didn't have like an app where you could order pizza, and actually we didn't have a website. So you had to call the number and they would advertise it on the commercials. Call 544-7739 or what. I don't know where that came from.
Wow,
so
I'm gonna call that later.
Now I want to Google search that. But yeah, it was crazy. We would call, hi, could we order 2 large pizzas, please? And my parents would always get the ones with all the veggie pizza. They'd get veggie pizza, and then I would get the meats, which is really good. So you really have to stop saying that. So then what else did we use the phone? Oh, then I tried dialing like one of those psychic hotlines. It was either a psychic hotline or it was
Miss Cleo.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that, Miss Cleo, and like I can even remember the essence of the commercial where it's like crystals and it's like very ethereal and there's Miss Cleo on the screen. And it's like, dial the number. And then down below, it's like $5.99 per minute, or whatever it is. Well, obviously, as kids, we don't pay attention to the fine print. So I know I didn't call Miss Cleo, but I think I probably called like a sex hotline or something and didn't really realize what it was because they would advertise stuff like that. Maybe it wasn't a sex hotline. It was something risque like that. So I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I remember, I don't know if you'll remember this, but there was a TV station called The Box, and it played music videos. And you could call up, and I forget, it was like $1.99 or $3.99 to get your video played. And man, literally, if you felt on top of the world. It's kind of like calling into a radio station and then picking up the phone. Other, phenomenal moment in phone history.
I was going to bring that up. Yep.
But literally calling up The Box. We used to have this friend. He looked just like Vanilla Ice. I'm telling you, he looked exactly like him. He drove a white convertible Ford Mustang, and we used to put that video. We used to put the video on of Ice Ice Baby, and we'd invite all these girls over and say that this was Vanilla Ice. And they bought it for a bit. I mean, he looked that much alike. So we loved calling in and and we would just play that video nonstop. We loved calling in. Loved calling into The Box and spending way too much money to watch the same video.
That's actually really cool. I've never even heard of that. And that was definitely not something in our area.
You were probably younger. I mean, we're talking
maybe.
Like 90.
I don't remember that.
90.
I probably would have done that too.
90, 91, maybe 89, 90, 91.
Okay.
But for me, it was the 900 numbers. The only 900 numbers I wanted to call were the dirty ones. I mean, that was just...
Okay, 900 you had to pay, right? The 800 was not the paid ones.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
Correct.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, the 900 numbers were typically pay numbers. And then you would always get in trouble. As soon as the phone bill, at least you had like if you were intelligent and really were, I shouldn't say devious, you would get all the calls in on like the second of the month.
Yeah.
So you had at least 8 days to get away with it before the phone bill showed up. Right. With the charge
physical phone bill that your parents checked.
And they'd be like, who's calling 900 numbers?
What is this charge for?
Who's spending $55 on a 900 number?
Right.
So I remember those.
So speaking of commercials with phone numbers, I probably was around 5 when this happened. I don't think I've talked about this before with you or on here, but I saw an ad for 911 and I called 911.
Boy.
I hung up. I think I sat on the phone and someone answered. I'm sure someone answered and they were like, "What's your emergency?" And I was like, click. They sent the police over. And my parents were like,
I think by law.
They
have
do.
to send somebody out.
And they were like, my parents, all I remember them as being confused, and they answered the door and they talked to the 2 police officers. And then I vaguely remember my mom saying, "Don't ever dial 911 unless it's an emergency." But I remember the police officers were like, "Oh, she's little. It's okay. She just didn't know, da 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 da." But it's so funny how all these ads had call to actions. Call this number. It's from a marketing perspective, it's kind of funny. But I feel like that's all kids do this.
Yeah, but then the magic of radio. I loved radio. I was hugely into music. Music has influenced my life in many ways. So I was always listening to the radio or tapes or CDs or records back then. But when they had a contest or you wanted to win tickets or get on the radio, nobody better be on the phone. Like you're going to cut someone if they were on. Like my sister, like she got abused if she was on the phone and there was a radio contest. Call in now.
Because only one person could be on the phone at the same time.
Correct. And you had rich friends if they had their own phone line. When you had your own phone line, you were like upper
begged
class.
My parents for one. Finally in high school, they got me one.
So, And I think it's psychological warfare at that point because your parents probably want to get you the additional phone line.
Yes.
So the phone isn't ringing nonstop and you're not tying up the line, or they want to make you suffer. Right. So everyone's going to suffer. I never had a separate phone line. I never did.
I did for a very brief period of time. I was going to mention that the equivalent of kids nowadays, well, think about kids calling phone numbers and having to pay, the parents are having to pay for calling 900 numbers. The equivalent is kids now downloading apps and like getting these subscriptions, because that's definitely happened, or these games, and now it's like, what is this charge for? So it is kind of funny that is an equivalent.
I hadn't actually thought about that. I was kind of past, my kids were older at that point, so I didn't really have that issue.
Yeah. Going back to the news channel, I remember the contests. So do you remember what the contests were? You had to...
The news channel, the radio? Oh,
yeah, sorry, radio channels. They would play a snippet of a song, like the very beginning of it, and you had
to call
there was like
in.
3 or 4 of them, and you had to get them all right, and it was the 7th caller or the 9th caller or whatever. I got through one time, and I actually won something. I have no idea what I won. I can't remember that, but I remember thinking that, we would call, my sister and I would call non-stop.
Prove it.
I remember it was like, where the radio station was. And I remember going to the radio station to pick up tickets for something. It was probably very lame, but it was so, like, the challenge of doing that was so exhilarating, because it's like, there's the chance that you could be the 7th caller. Yeah. And they were always like, hey, we're doing our challenge today. And, the 7th caller to call and tell us the right answers, will win XYZ. And it was always like tickets to something. I don't even remember what it was we were winning, or the chance. It was usually
tickets.
Air. Yeah.
I never heard that, but it was tickets or.
Well, they would take your call on the air.
Yeah. You would, or get a shout out or something.
Yeah,
which was
that
huge,
was super cool. Oh,
right?
Yeah.
You were running around trying to find a tape recorder to record it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
So,
yeah,
because you needed proof. Cool. No one would believe you, right? I was on the radio. No,
if I wasn't there, it didn't happen.
That's right.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and then for me, it was always busy. I could never get through. So
yes, so true.
I won't forget the first phone that we had that had redial. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like you hit that you could just boop, boop, boop.
I remember that button.
Yeah.
Isn't it so funny that they were like, nowadays, it's crazy how like we came up with all these inventions, these concepts and ideas, and executed them in the most crude ways. It was like a button that had the redial on it, or it's just
that
funny.
was high tech back then. I mean,
it really was.
And then you had call waiting, right? Like call waiting would pop in.
Yeah.
And that would always be terrible for anyone that was gaming or on a computer. Right, like downloading something, it would boot you off the internet. AOL would crash.
I don't remember that. That's funny.
Yeah, so I think, what was it? *67. You had to hit *667. You had to hit *67 to block, like disable call waiting. I think that's what it was. So yeah, and then your sibling would always get mad because you were tying up the phone line if you had siblings or your parents.
I thought you had to dial a number to block caller ID. I kept learning all these things from my friends.
Maybe that's it. *67 might have been to block caller ID.
Yes.
There was a way to disable call waiting, I thought, but maybe I
don't remember that. That's too far back for me.
Yeah.
It's too far in the memory bank.
Yeah, the elderly is kicking in. But yeah, phones were just the way we had a conversation. And I remember not really, it was short conversation. Hey, you want to go out and play? Or hey, you want to meet at the park? Or, hey, you want to go shoot some hoops? Or, hey, you want to play ball? Right? Like, there was no conversating. So it was
which is also kind of interesting.
To the point.
So, anyway.
Yeah. Brief distraction. There's something going on outside the house right now. We don't really know what.
We're having a rock concert.
Yeah, it's awfully loud. But
oh, yeah. I bet you it's the Amazon driver.
So
usually the Amazon or the UPS driver will have it on.
A little segue, and shout out to the Amazon drivers. We
right
have
on.
one that is having the best time of his life when he
is.
pulls up. Actually, there's two. There's a guy and there's a man and a woman.
Yeah, I remember.
The girl also does the same thing. They have the music blasting, and they are singing, running up to the door. Not missing a lyric, literally just so.
Can you imagine if everybody worked like that? Like we're all like,
awesome.
hey, let's go crank it up. Let's get those products out.
Yeah, no one in IT works that way. So the phone was just a wild experience, and maybe that was the primer for us to learn how to conversate differently, like literally like a job interview. Like you could show up for a job interview because you asked someone out on the phone.
That's true.
Well, another episode we'll have to get into when you showed up at the door. That was always fun. So,
oh, yeah. You kind of sparked some other thoughts around job interviews, how we used to do job interviews.
Yeah, that would be a future episode.
Yes, I have so much I could share on that.
All right. Put a pin in that one and we'll come back to it. So another thing about the 90s, I'm kind of going to jump around here as we kind of close out on the phone conversation. The rules. These rules that never made any sense. Like literally, there's statements that are probably embedded in your brain that have become like folklore as far as having to follow rules. The biggest and brightest, everyone will have an aha moment right now is, hey, you can't swim in the pool after you eat. You have to wait at least 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah. I always heard that one. And then I got to a point where I was
Did you ever get sick?
No.
So it was this, I don't know what drove parents to make that rule. Maybe it was, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But that literally.
Well, it is a medical thing. I mean, I did look it up back in the day that water, like the pressure in the pool could make you throw up. I mean,
what's the chance?
You can fact check me. I don't know.
What's the risk?
I don't know. It's funny how we pass on these. It's like you with the hat on the bed. Is it the hat on the bed?
Yeah.
It's like, where did that come from? You don't want to put a hat on the bed.
Someone told me that if you put a hat on the bed, it's bad.
Or no shoes in the bathroom, or don't put your keys somewhere. I can't remember.
No shoes in the bathroom. I never said that.
You made me move my shoes out of the bathroom one time.
No, that wasn't me.
That was you. I can prove it.
All right. Well, I won't prove because I have no problem. I have no problem with shoes in the bathroom.
With keys?
Keys and hats can't go on the bed.
Yeah. So, but why?
Or the table.
Like, why do we carry
Someone told
these
me one time that you go broke. I don't know because I'm stupid. But but yeah. So but growing up, these were like big deals. Like you listened to that. And never swam in the pool. It was at least 30 minutes. And then if you sit too close to the TV, you'll go blind.
Oh, that's a good one, too. I forgot about that.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, look at the size of the TVs we have now. 100 inches, right?
Like, or our phones in our face constantly.
You're literally sitting in front of screens. Or your computer at work. You are sitting in front of screens very close to your face nonstop.
That's actually really funny.
Why isn't that a rule anymore? Can't we make that rule? If we sit too close, we'll go blind. Like I want to bring that. Can we bring that rule back? We need to bring that one back. We need to bring it back. Calling for a petition to bring it back. Please. And do you remember Quicksand being like a scary thing? Like everything.
Oh yeah. It was
like
always
Quicksand.
In the movies.
Yes. Like we were just surrounded by quicksand. All the time.
So, actually, I'm curious how many movies back in the 80s and 90s had quicksand. Indiana Jones, Romancing the Stone.
Oh, yeah.
Princess Bride. Okay, I'm out. Those are the only three I can think of. But that's a lot. There is a trend. It was a huge trend. I mean, you don't see quicksand in shows and movies anymore now. You know, like that. No one ever includes that. But it's funny how people are like sitting around with the screenplay and they're like, "Ooh, we should include a quicksand scene."
What about don't go outside with your hair wet? You'll get sick. I say that to you now.
That is true. Yeah. I mean,
but if it's
that I feel
not
is
if
true.
It's warm.
Yeah, that's true. Or don't sleep with wet hair at night because you get a crick in your neck. But that's also
I never heard
true.
that. That must be a Southern thing.
A crick.
Crick. I don't even like, what's a crick? That's a weird word. A crick is like, has water and it's like creek.
That's a creek.
Yeah, I'm from Philly. You say crick. But cracking your knuckles will give you arthritis. Parents used to always say that. It could be, but they didn't want you cracking your knuckles, so they beat that into your freaking head that it's going to cause arthritis.
Yeah. You got some more?
Yeah, I got more. You want me to keep going?
Yeah, keep going. Bring them all out.
Swallowing gum will stay in your stomach for 7 years.
Oh, yeah. I remember that was funny. I remember that very well.
That was a weird, like, is it true? I mean, I have to fact check some of these.
I don't swallow gum now. Like, for example, today I had coffee and then I had gum, and I was walking around doing those artist interviews, and I was chewing the gum and I couldn't find a trash can. And I was like, if I swallow this, is it going to stay in my stomach forever? I mean, how old am I? And I still am thinking about that.
It's crazy, right? Like, that's why I said it's like this. It's been coded in our brain.
Right.
Did you do this? Did you hold your breath when you drove past the cemetery?
No.
We did that all the time. I always had to hold your breath. Oh, yeah. Hold your breath. We're driving past the cemetery all the time.
Why? What would happen? Or is that one of those you don't know? That just
there's no science to any of this. Like, literally, this was just like fear and vibes. Like, there was no science to this. It was because your parents told you or your friends were doing it, right?
Yeah.
You were either influenced or forced. That's kind of the point of entry. So here's a good one. I wrote a bunch down, so that's why I'm looking. But don't turn on the car light. Right? Like if you put the center light on, your parents would have like a heart attack and you crash instantly. You're going to kill everybody in the car if you turn that light on. Everyone's going to die.
At night.
Like a laser beam. Yes, at night.
And I remember actually as a kid thinking, what's the big deal in my mind? I remember thinking that doesn't make any sense. And I kept trying to figure out why they kept telling me that. I mean, I do kind of get it, but I think they just didn't want you messing with the light.
Yeah, but it is blinding in a dark car if you hit the light.
Those lights are that bright. I mean, come on. Back in the day, come on now.
Do you remember your parents telling you not to touch the TV screen? I don't know. My parents just don't touch the screen. Don't touch the screen.
Not often, but I vaguely remember that.
But we had no problem smacking the side of the TV to get it to,
Oh, yeah, or shaking
to get the static
get
off,
the antenna
right?
banging on it.
You beat the shit out of that thing, no problem. But don't touch that screen. Don't touch that screen.
That was good.
Here's one. Did you do this?
What?
We can close it out on this. Wait 3 days before calling someone you like.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, again, etiquette. How much time do you give? Yeah.
Don't let the phone ring, let the phone ring a few times before you picked it up so it doesn't seem like you were waiting.
Yeah, I remember that. Gosh, I do remember that from high school.
You had all these like idiosyncrasies that you followed that had no scientific fact or basis. Scientifical. I'm getting like you. I'm making up words.
It's more fun that way.
It was more fun that way. Okay, so boredom. There was a lot of days, and I remember I wasn't allowed to use that term quite often. Like it would really make my parents mad. Yeah. So you had to get creative with boredom. But boredom was a thing. I mean, it's still a thing, but you have way more things you can occupy your time with now. But boredom back then, you had to get real creative.
Yes,
you had to get real. You would make up games, like the dumbest stuff, just to entertain yourself. You were just talking about staring at the ceiling. Like in the morning, you would stare at the ceiling and the sunlight would just start to come in and, it would go through the trees and it would make like a pattern on the ceiling and you'd kind of dream into that, or maybe it would inspire something. So boredom was like a real challenge. It was like you had to really get creative and figure stuff out because there's only so much ball you can play. I guess for me, we were either skateboarding or on our bikes, but even then, there's only so much you can do. So I literally feel like creativity came from nothing. We created so much crazy stuff. So
like what?
Whether we were always architecting some way to kill ourselves, whether it was we were going to make a ramp. Never forget, my friends and I wanted to make a bike ramp so we could jump off the ramp.
Yeah.
Well, I guess going back to me not being all that bright, we would get the wood and we would build the frame. And the thing we never figured out is how to support the middle.
Yeah.
So you would hit the ramp and it would just kind of fall in, and then you'd either not have enough speed and you'd hit the pedals, like the derailleur or the sprocket in the middle, and you just kind of topple forward, or the ramp would just crack in half. So we weren't very good at creating ramps, but we were creative. We found ways to find.
Yeah.
That was
what? No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I spent a lot of time.
Spent a lot of time as a kid exploring. Like, there were so crazy. I get snippets of memories. I remember staring at the ground a lot, watching the ants, especially during the summer. You didn't have, like, I wasn't at camp all summer. Like, we just didn't do that. Like, my parents never enrolled me in stuff for the summer. So I was home all summer, unless we went on a trip to see like my grandmother or something. But I would always spend a lot of time outside. So I would come up with games with like rocks and sticks, or I'd stare at the gravel and watch the ants, or I'd dig in the grass and like, what can I find?
Did you used to use the magnifying glass to try and start fire?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I did try that. Or like little camping techniques with you remember what is that? The stick in your hand and you try to start the fire.
Well, you had the stick and then you put it in the other stick and you would get the friction going and
you'd
start
have
a little
to clear
burn,
a
get a
little
little
spot.
ember.
And then put little rocks around like a little s'mores pit,
S'mores kit.
I did. I never could get it, and I gave up.
I mean, just fascinated with fire. But that magnifying glass, when I learned that trick, that was a game changer, because we used to do it in school. So you would, if you could sit by the window at the perfect spot, you could just get that right beam on somebody and start to burn their neck or burn their hand.
That.
Yeah, well,
That's
we were seditious. Or, kids would always want to, burn an insect. See if it could kill an insect.
So so your use of the magnifying glass and mine was very different. I like to look through it. But memory triggered. You remember getting cups and putting the string through like connecting them? So I
never understood that. I'd never.
Really?
Yeah, we did it with cans.
What movie? Yes, cans. That's right. It wasn't cups, it was cans. Do you remember making those? There was a movie, I think, that had it. I can't remember if it was The Sandlot or if it was The Wonder Years, but I got inspired.
Wonder Years was a TV show.
I know. I just don't remember if it was a show or a movie, but I remember seeing that. Maybe it was Little Rascals. And I was like, that's a great idea. I want to do this with my neighbor, And it never worked. And then my mom was like, hey, why don't you make those Quaker oatmeal canisters, the cardboard ones, the round cylinders?
Oh, yeah.
The what I still eat today. She would say, make two of I would make things out of those. And I would make stilts out of them.
I remember that. We used to use cans. And I would
put string on them. Cans were good like the pineapple juice cans, the big ones, or there were other big cans you could use. We did that.
In the kitchens, you call them 10 cans. Like literally, they're these bigger cans. Oh my gosh.
Like Costco ones?
Yes.
Like the industrial
kitchen
size. Yeah.
Gosh, those stupid things. Stilts. Homemade, so you'd have the string and you were never strong enough to like hold it to your feet as you were walking or coordinated enough.
That's true. It didn't work very well. Paper airplanes, looking at the stars.
Yeah, just laying in the grass and the clouds.
Yes,
like the clouds were always, I feel like
question. As a kid, along the same lines, when we used to imagine the clouds were different animals, things like that. You remember?
Yes.
Okay. Do you ever go out and look at the clouds anymore?
I do.
You do?
I do.
I like that. That's nice. But I feel like a lot of people don't do that much anymore. But maybe that's just my perception.
Well, I'm just definitely afraid of tornadoes, so I'm always on the watch for a tornado. Being an East Coaster, I'm not used to this Texas weather. Texans. But no, I do. I feel like that's like an imprint on my brain, those moments, because they were really, my imagination ran wild, and I really do equate that to a lot of staring at clouds. I don't know, it's weird, but I still remember I can watch the movie reel in my head, and I would stare at the same cloud and it would change. Mm-hmm. So literally I would create a story in my head from all these changing kind of cloud configurations, and it would create a story.
I love that. That's awesome.
It was
could you still do that?
I don't know. Maybe.
That would actually be really cool to do, and
actually be kind of a cool art installation.
Yeah, so I like that.
But yeah, those are I think because those were good times in life. So I remember certain things about the good times in life, and those were good or they were bad times in life. And I was escaping and using imagination and writing these stories because things were tough. So it kind of was comforting on both sides. So
I like that a lot.
The boredom curse kind of was a gift in a lot of ways, because it made you explore. It turned you into an adventurer.
Yeah.
And it kind of shaped a lot of things. Everyone got a chance to be a leader when you were bored, because if you came up with the cool idea, you were leading the charge.
That's true.
It didn't matter. Of course, there's mean kids that were like, that's stupid. But for the
reality
most part,
check.
Yeah. If you were in your friend group, you could usually debate for
someone
a minute.
Had an idea.
And then you'd run with it. So
hey, it was something to do. All right, you got a better idea? No? Okay, let's go.
We used to, so there was a pond by my house, and it had a storm drain.
Yeah.
So, and it would go under the street. No, it was in the ground. Big tube, and you would walk through it, or you could walk through it. It was this huge storm drain. Mm-hmm. We used to hang out in there. And it was just weird. I don't know why, but that was like a magical place. Like, hey, let's go hang out in this dirty ass storm drain that stinks like duck shit and rotten fish. It was a great time. Yeah. We used to smoke cigarettes down there too. So
yeah, that's great.
That's when the imagination turned into deviant behavior. But anyway,
that's where imagination will lead you, sonny boy.
I think our imagination has run out, and it's run out for this episode.
No,
I don't think I have a lot more imagination.
I think we covered a lot of great. I think we covered a lot of great memories and things actually that I had forgotten about, and I'm sure you did too.
So I want to ask the audience, what unwritten rule, or what rule, illogical rule, or what did you grow up with just following, like not swimming for 30 minutes after eating? Something similar. Let us know in the comments. Mm-hmm. Again, we appreciate all the engagement. Subscribe, like, and follow. It really helps the channel. And that's this episode of The Well. I'm Drew.
And I'm Kat.
We'll see you later. No, we won't. We'll talk to you later. See you next time. Bye.